Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to Phil's Recap and Review, the Walking Dead Listen to Us podcast. No, I don't know if the Walking Dead Listen to Us podcast. We're going to be talking today about how the Walking Dead has changed showrunners. We'll also be mentioning a little bit about Game of Thrones starting in 2019, just to get some of Joe's thoughts about that. But if this is your first time joining us, welcome to the Issues program, Phil's Recap and Review, whatever. Jump on in. We have people joining us live throughout the show. We call them the live motherfucking chat, and please share your thoughts about what you think about this switch over for The Walking Dead. And if you're joining us later on, please share it in the comment section. And also, we have a call-in line right now. If you want to leave a voicemail or a text, it's 781-990-8509. If you want to get your voice in right now to talk about what has happened here with The Walking Dead. This has just basically been announced in the last 24 hours. I will read an article from I forget where.
Please do, because I haven't read anything about this. This is the first I'm hearing about it, Phil. Literally.
Okay, I googled an article. This is one of the articles about it. I will read it, but first we got to welcome our live motherfucking chat. We got Hannibal, we got Cattigat, we got Mike, we got DJ, we got Callie, and
Richard and Wolf Gaming.
And everyone said it took him long enough. This guy is trash. Joe Dirty Cox, the Hizzle, love him. Love all of you guys. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. We usually do Sunday evenings, but just because of some shit going on, Sunday afternoons working. We're not going to be on for too long, probably about a half an hour, 45 minutes. Quick podcast here about it. But of course, I'm not alone. You heard his voice over there, but I'm with Joe Dirty Locks today. How you doing, Joe?
I'm good. How you doing?
Joe, should we take the victory lap?
I think we should. I think, some people, we've had it before. Someone in AMC listens to our show, right? We called them. We left a message. They're tuned into us, Phil. They got to be. At this point now, they got to be.
Welcome, Wolf. And everybody, we're just going to take this curtain call. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. We're responsible for that shit. No,
it's all us.
To us,
motherfucking chat.
Yeah, to you guys in the motherfucking chat, to all of us, we got a change in The Walking Dead. Whether it's going to be a lateral change or not, we'll explore that in this podcast.
Just someone else who used to do it.
And Gimple has not been fired. I want to make this clear. He hasn't been ousted. He's actually, on paper here, gotten a promotion. Okay,
let's read this article. I'm
going to read this article about this. So the Wolf Gaming says the battle is over, but the war has just begun. Let's take a victory lap. I'll take one victory lap around the room. Victory!
The happy dance. The happy dance.
I think my fly was down during that. But so now the person that has taken over for The Walking Dead is Angela Kang. Now, Angela Kang has been with the series since 2011, has been promoted to showrunner of the flagship series, starting with season 9, which will be not this half season. This will be Gimple's last. While Gimple will serve as chief content officer, overseeing all things The Walking Dead.
Wait.
Let me finish the article, then we'll talk. The Dead Shall Rise Again. The cable network has renewed The Walking Dead for a 9th season and signed former showrunner Scott M. Gimple to an overall deal in which he will now serve as chief consultant officer to the franchise. In his new role, Gimple will oversee The Walking Dead's vast television universe, including both the flagship and the spin-off series Fear the Walking Dead, as well as gaming and future brand extensions on a variety of platforms. Among other areas, and now writer, co-executive producer Angela Kang has been promoted to executive producer and showrunner, replacing Gimple in the latter role of The Walking Dead. Kang has been with The Walking Dead since 2011, writing 20 episodes of the show, including the critically acclaimed Coda and Still. Kang will take over as showrunner starting season 9, which will premiere in 2018. Joe, what are your immediate thoughts on that?
My immediate thoughts are, okay, so it sounds to me like Gimple's going into promotions, merchandising, and just more of like, all right, this is my brand now, right?
Wolf Gaming says all I can hear is yogurt going, merchandising.
Right, exactly. And if that's the case, I'm fine with that. I got no problem with that. Hype shit, pump shit, oversee shit, collect your check, whatever. But as long as he's not going to be standing over Angela and being like, you know, veto, you know, nope, I think we go this direction.
Right.
And ruin, like, because he'll be like, yeah, fine, do this, and they'll do that for so many episodes, and then she'll be like, okay, the next part of this whole thing is this, and I'm like, no. And it would ruin everything that leads up to that point. You know what I mean?
He might be setting into a role similar. I think Marvel has a guy like this too, Balzaro, whatever the fuck his name is. I'm not sure. That's sort of the coordinator that meets with all the directors for the movies and goes, okay, you can do your movie, but this is how it has to fit into the cinematic universe.
And that's what I hope isn't.
Me too. What I hope is happening is this is the go out to pasture promotion. Your job is chief executive Samahootsie about poopycock. And really, he's just paid to sit in an office and check mark shit every single day and smile for the camera and wave, but he's actually been replaced. But what's concerning to me when we get into who's taking over for him, we have to look at the episodes that she's been a writer for a long time and kind of worked hand in hand with Gimple. Is this a way of satisfying assholes like you and me that, it looks like they're changing something there. It looks like they're shaking up something. But really what they're doing is moving Gimple up, and ultimately she's going to do something similar because she believes in the same things Gimple does. I don't know.
And what if she wrote 20 episodes that I thought were all shit?
And funny, we're going to go through that. That's how we're going to finish off this discussion here.
Oh my God. I mean,
we're going to go through
have reviews on a few of them.
Most of them, because she's been with the show since 2011. So you're going
to hear me say now, like, oh yeah, that was a good episode, and then watch the review and me shit all over them.
One of the ones she did is the Daryl and Beth get drunk and give each other the finger one. The Daryl and Beth.
That was a fun. And then she just gets kidnapped at the end.
Yeah, I think that was her. We'll go through that in a second here. So Kang has been with The Walking Dead since 2011. She did Coda and Still. We'll have to rely on the motherfucking chat to let us know about certain episodes she did when we go through them. Continue this article. This is an enormously important day for the entire Walking Dead television universe. We're proud to acknowledge Angela's significant contribution to the series and set a clear path forward for a 9th season under her direction. Further, with gratitude and admiration, we recognize Scott's broad impact on leadership of the content that fuels the Walking Dead universe. Together, we will dream bigger and more broadly than ever before, says Charlie Collier, president of AMC. I know I speak for Angela, Scott, and everyone at AMC when I say thanks most to all the fans and many talented people who have helped AMC and The Walking Dead. I don't want to be Nancy fucking negative here, but the vibe I get from this is not, hyperbole aside of our bullshit, The Walking Dead's lost a lot of ratings, and a lot of people are blaming Gimple, as they should, for what his responsibility in what The Walking Dead is.
Fucking killed Carl.
Kill Carl, which could be. I don't have.
Is it even really a zombie bite? What if it's like a dog bite?
I care more about the Glenn dumpster thing than I do about Carl. If I'm being completely
honest. Was Gimple too, right? Come on.
So I care more about those kind of decisions and some of the direction of the whole Negan arc, which the Carl thing, I get why people are bothered, especially fans of the comics.
Right.
And
it bothers me.
Where Carl is such an important part of series of events to come later. But I do think the shit was already made at that point. It's not like that was the straw that broke the camel's back. Shit had been piling up for a while.
Right. You'd already been eating a shit sandwich, and it was like, I need something to wash this down. And they handed you a shit frap.
Yep.
So you're like, all right, I'm already shit so much deep.
Joe, is this a way of putting a nice one of those umbrella toothpicks inside my shit frap? Is that what's happening here? Are they want to take out that old, dirty, shitty smelling straw?
It's too early to tell. Here's the thing. She's not going to be a writer, right? She's going to be a showrunner. Mm-hmm. So she's going to have like input, and she's not going to be writing the dialogue and a lot of other stuff.
I'm sorry, Joe. I'm sorry to interrupt you. Jay Ski says, I hate to break. He didn't say hate to break this to you. She wrote the thank you, the one with the Glenn dumpster thing. Okay. Oh, we got Hannibal. We got Broke Black.
Okay. Now, was she told to write that?
Right. Did she have did she get to decide story points or did she write the dialogue? And I mean, I don't know how The Walking Dead's writer's room works.
Right. Is she the lead writer and everybody else wrote it?
Right. Was it her concept? I've heard in some speculation at times that a lot of that had to do with with how it was shot that day or something like that, and that created some of the problems with the dumpster.
But see, then that's bullshit. That's a bullshit reason and a bullshit excuse. If it had a lot of reason to do with the way it was shot, when you sat down to edit this shit and you're saying, oh God, this is what we're going to go with, you call everybody back, you take the fucking monetary hit, and you re-fucking film a scene. A singular fucking scene. Yeah, it involves a lot of zombies, but you do shit you have to do to make a good product. You know? So if she's responsible for writing Glenn goes under a dumpster, or is she responsible for writing, well, we have to get out of this somehow, and we have shit that Glenn needs to do this season, which ultimately he didn't need to do.
She also in that episode wrote, I think, a pretty good episode leading to the point. I think where it got bad is when he came back in the couple of episodes down the road. Him dying in that episode, if you watch our
would have been fine.
We were like, that's an awesome. The show has balls to kill Glenn like that. So in a way that they did it, I thought was done particularly well. San Burbier Pictures in the live chat right now, one of my favorites, one of our oldest viewers. They've been constantly losing millions of viewers, and this asshole gets promoted. What the?
Well, who said it? Who said it a little further up in the chat? I liked it. It was the High Lords get fired with a promotion.
Yeah.
You know? And ultimately, I wish I could find who said it.
Yeah, where was it? I'll look for it for a second. They need to fire the whole writing team. Kang wrote the fucking dumpster episode, Phil. I haven't spoiled my Felicia's in the live motherfucking chat. And I want to give the new showrunner credit and see how they move from this situation forward. And great to see Nymeria in the live motherfucking chat as well.
Ion Trone. There you go.
So I don't know. The biggest question I have ultimately comes down to, is this what was just being implied by someone in the chat, that is this just a sending out to pasture with a promotion? The okay, Lords, here's your house, here's your job title. Don't do anything. We got to save this show. And she's going to try to right this ship, give the show teeth again. If that's really what happens, I'm going to give season 9. I'm more excited for season 9, obviously, than I am for the back half of season 8 now. It gives me and of course me, because I'm looking for hope in any piece of dog shit. I'm looking for something I can eat in that. We're using this dog shit comparison a lot.
It gives me reason to actually sit down and start watching season 9 past, the show that we do and everything. And the fact that I still, for some reason, 8 years deep, I'm going to keep going.
Oh yeah, so deep. Eight years deep, Jeff. Sorry, there's some dirty joke there I didn't quite get to. Broke says, question and answering. Hasn't Scott done the other half of season 8? Yeah, we were just talking about. We do have a half a season of Scott Gimple, his swan song thing that he's going to be doing, which is probably, hopefully,
burning the fucking roof off the building before he leaves.
Or hopefully finishing this Negan arc.
Like he saw this firing happening, 6 months, 8 months ago, probably. He probably heard rumors or grumblings or had an argument and was like, you know what? Fuck them. I'm going to burn this motherfucker to the ground. They can watch me leave this in ashes.
Now, let me finish off this article. There's a little bit more about Robert Kirkman. He's talks about who Kirkman is. And Gimple's larger deal comes after he added oversight of the spinoff Fear the Walking Dead to his purview, created by Kirkman and David Erickson. The latter excited as showrunner at the end of season 3. So it seems like what I'm reading from this is that Gimple is going to be taking a bigger role in Fear the Walking Dead.
So he's going to go shit and ruin that, which is already shit.
I know people are like, Fear the Walking Dead is going to get good. Next season, you get Garen Dillon joining the cast. You get a couple of other big names joining the cast per season. Morgan joining the cast, and is Jenna Elfman joining the cast to it?
That alone, the fact that Morgan's joining the cast, okay.
And Garen Dillon. I'm a Garen Dillon fanboy, and I think anything he's gonna do is gonna be good. So I know his character, whatever it is, even if the show's written all wonky, he's gonna deliver a great performance because he's never let me down in anything he's ever done.
He hasn't let me down either.
He's one of those underrated talents like Christopher Maloney is. He has like this. I don't know. It's hard to. He's got that it factor, kid. You can't quite comprehend.
It's hard for someone in one season, especially in this day and age, I forget what the name of that Swearingen Western was, with what's his name for the guy
Deadwood?
from Deadwood, right? He Dylan Hunt plays two separate characters unrelated to each other during the same fucking season. Like, he comes in, he plays a character, he ends up getting murdered, and then like a few episodes later, there he is again playing a completely other character that's unrelated to the last, and he pulls it off completely.
So it seems like Gimple's going to be spending more time there. The Walking Dead is a special show which started in every different entire blah, 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 blah. It's just more about The Walking Dead and how it's losing ratings a little bit. So moving on from that, let's go and take a look at the episodes in which Angela Kang has written. Now, she has one producer credit. She also produces The Walking Dead. Her episodes that she has written are, and How It's Gotta Be, which is every story and battle comes crashing together as everything Rick and Group has done is put to the test. This is season 8, episode 8. Okay, so she wrote episode 8, season 8 episodes. She wrote, I'm just going to read the title.
So that was a crap episode we just saw that she wrote. Okay,
yes.
Not excited so far.
The second to last episode.
Dumpster episode. Oh, I am now not excited. I was all like, yay, Gimple's gone. Maybe the shit storm is over.
But there's 20 episodes. Okay. She wrote How It's Gotta Be, The King, The Widow, and Rick, which is also a more recent episode. The Big Scary You. She wrote The Teleplay, which is, I think that means more dialogue. The First Day of the Rest of Your Life. She wrote another more recent episode. The Other Side of the Road, Rock in the Road, Sing Me a Song from season 6, The Cell, The Same Boat, The Next World, Thank You, Try, Coda, Four Walls and a Roof, I liked A lot. That was the
trailer episode.
Terminus episode. Still, I like Still, Infected, I Ain't No Judas in 2013, Say the Word, Judge, Jury, and Executioner in 2012, and Secrets. So I'm not familiar with all those episodes, but it definitely, there's a couple of clunkers in there. But still, in a new job, she might just bring life into the showrunners, and then you can get writers that newer writers in there that might be a little bit more exciting. But any thoughts on those episodes, Joe?
Well, one of the things about the fact that she writes the episodes is she's not responsible for writing the main season story arc. So what ends up happening is Gimple sits down with the writer of whatever episode and says, these are the points you have to hit them, right? And whatever else or how you get there is yours to write. So they're not writing, like, you see 20 episodes, that's broken up over quite a few seasons since 2011.
Yep.
So it's like, she's not even in the writer's room for a lot of episodes. So she doesn't get to decide a lot of those things. She's handed like, okay, we want Glenn to be life in danger. Do it.
Exactly. She has the point. She's going to be the one now that gives the season arc and tells the writers, give me that. So it's hard to tell just from episodes that I get your point, Joe. It's hard to tell. Right. It's hard to tell from episodes that she's written what she's going to be like as a showrunner. Correct. But if we're going by that, she hasn't written some of the best episodes. Although, as someone said, scrolled by, who was it? Midnight Chat Attack is in the live motherfucking chat right now. Jay Ski says, A was where Rick ripped out Joe the Claimer's throat in that episode. So that I thought it was the dumpster episode. Not the dumpster episode, the trailer episode, because there was an A on it. But I'm gonna take the live motherfucking chat's word on that one. How often is the druggie gonna screw up everything and the super mom sacrifice everything again to say I'm talking about Fear the Walking Dead?
Oh yeah, God.
Four Walls and a Roof was a really awesome episode as well. I definitely like that one. If it's the one I remember. Let me take a look at that one. Four Walls and a Roof. This was written by her. When Bob's life is hanging in the balance, the group prepares to fight back against Gareth and the group of cannibals. Yeah, the Terminus arc was one of my favorite arcs. But again, this goes to Joe's point that The Walking Dead, I don't know how much I want to give responsibility to the writers for what they do on a week-to-week basis and how much of the showrunner dictates what's going to happen in the season and the writers work as a tool to that. Not every writer's room is the Better Call Saul or Breaking Bad writer's room where they all sit in a room and throw around ideas.
Write the whole season.
Yeah, and or they do episode to episode, but yeah, exactly that go get the board up and really hammer it out with all the writers in there to argue and talk about what's going to happen, and everyone works hand in hand. This could be more of a machine, and she's just given brief sketches, like an outline or a treatment of something, and told this is what you got to do. So again, it's Joe has the best answer here. It's a wait and see attitude. I am slightly less excited than I was when I heard it by reading some of the episodes she's worked on, but
Correct.
It's hit or miss. There's some good, some bad, and I'm willing to give her a shot. The fact that Gimple's moving over to the Fear the Walking Dead and I don't watch that as much is good with me. I hope he doesn't have too much of a hand in what Telltale wants to do with their video games. The video game thing kind of confuses me too. And I like that, get that out of the people from the Walking Dead's hands and let Telltale do it. They've been doing a good job with that shit. So let them keep doing what they're doing. Don't get your dick mixed too much in that box right now. There's enough dicks you need to get, but if that's going to distract Gimple, let him screw that up instead. That's fine with me.
So, Richard, to your point, I agree, and the only way to get over that is to give up this whole idea of the cliffhanger. That is what makes TV tired to me. I don't want there's zero reason for me to be, I need to think about this shit for 9 months while I wait for my show to come back. Oh my God, it was such a cliffhanger. What's going to happen?
I don't mind cliffhangers if they're amongst conclusions. And I think the age of keeping like big cliffhangers from a week to week standpoint, when most people that aren't us are watching things in binge quality, cliffhangers become near to impossible. And I think the biggest thing she needs to change, and again, it's something more endemic, if that's the correct word, of television as a whole. You were saying cliffhangers. I will go you one further. I don't mind cliffhangers if they're done right. Vikings has used a couple of cliffhangers this season that I haven't minded. And a couple other shows, Better Call Saul uses it to good effect. Game of Thrones does as well sometimes. My problem with television right now is these mid-season finales and premieres and everything working around them. Every show having a mid-season finale, and it has to be leading up to this big point, and big things not being almost predictable where you can call your shot, leading into the promotion of the mid-season finale with the Carl thing. And, oh, this is going to be the moment you're talking about. Don't miss it. It's no. Surprise us. Don't hold my hand. It's like trailers that tell you too much about the movie before you go and see it. I don't want to know what's going to happen in the movie before I see it. I don't want to watch The Walking Dead and go, yeah, nothing's going to happen this episode.
Right.
It's going to happen in the mid-season finale. Fuck that.
Watch episode, 8 of Game of Thrones, and like had the whole week before them saying, you don't want to miss what happens to Ned. You're not going to believe what happens to Ned.
Yeah. Spoiler for Game of Thrones season 1 if you haven't watched it. We're not going to say what happens, but it'd be like in episode 8, get HBO putting up, make sure you tune in next week. You don't want to see the conclusion of Ned's journey where you won't believe what happens next. Exactly. You won't believe what happens next. The closest thing that they did that was they hyped up a little bit with the Mountain versus the Viper the week before that fight. Like it's going to be the biggest fight in the world, but they didn't tip the hand at all to the way that was going to go.
Because it was also written already.
True.
So most fans knew how that was going, but
still,
you wanted to see that shit.
But just an overall thing, The Walking Dead shouldn't make me feel safe at all, ever. When I'm watching it as a viewer, I should constantly feel like I'm in danger or in potential for some fucked up shit to happen at any moment in time for any fucking reason.
And they lost that. It was that tension to start season 2, I think, or season 3, when that silent beginning, when they enter the house and they're all sitting down and Carl's going to eat fucking dog food and Daryl shoots a fucking owl and they hear a noise and they all pack up and leave silently and get the fuck out. Like it was that tension, that worry that at any moment that could be zombies, that could be, death from people, that could be that's all missing now.
And as you and I both know, Miss Kang is watching us right now. So Miss Kang, if you want, and I'm only calling her Miss because I forget her first name. So
Angela.
Thank you. If you're watching us right now, that's what you need to bring back to the show. A sense of urgency, a sense of fear, no pun intended for Fear the Walking Dead, a sense of anything could happen at any time. If you can bring that kind of energy, I can handle stupid shit that happens in the show. It's a fucking over the top zombie show. Add more stupid shit. Keep it or bring it. Go.
No. Less stupid shit. We've seen Carl get attacked, do stupid shit, and get attacked by zombies 80 times. But the one time he actually gets bit, you don't even show us that.
Yeah.
You're like an episode and a half later. Oh, I got a fever, and look, there's a wound on my belt. That's like, how do you even write that? How do you sit down and be like, this is the kid that grew up in this shit? Like one of the only kids we've seen, one of the only kids that survived this long. And like, you don't even get to, and you keep having him do stupid shit until he finally gets bit, and then you don't even show us him get bit. Yeah. Like that's ballless. That's stupid. That's like,
it's awful. And
it's awful.
And K-Rich from before. Yeah, Sean B will be joining us on the couch next week. Walking David in the live motherfucking chat. Great to see you, buddy. Great to see you. Who's very, very happy. Miss Dizzle, they grow, man. They can't stay scared forever. 10 years old with spoons killing zombies. Too many cliffhangers. Game of Thrones did that crap too. Give me tension and fucking suspense. Don't just fall into an easy rhythm. What made television such a special thing, or what started to change television from movies, I think 5 years ago or something like that, where it really started to curve. And there was some other shows that sort of creeped into this, but I think when it really started to take over was when television was bringing you something new, something different, something unexpected. Seeing characters that weren't normal characters was new. If you consistently do the same thing, but then when something's popular, it's like a million rats trying to get through one hole, and you just consistently keep doing the same thing over and over again. You have to innovate and change things up so it can't be predictable, and you can't, or you run into the trap of 80s sitcom comedy. And why don't you just add a laugh track at this point, or add a fucking boo track in the season finale.
Movies kind of proved it also, like with the original Star Wars trilogy, the fact that number 2 ends on such a fucking downer. There's no reason not to have your audience walk away and feel like their heart just got ripped out of your chest. Yep. And you missed that mark with Glenn's death, with Abraham's death, with Carl's looming death, like, especially because it's looming. You've now given us multiple weeks again to mourn Carl's death. So when and if he dies, who gives a shit? We already know he's most likely dead. So whatever, release show trailers of a house burning and Carl being dragged out, being helped. Who gives a shit? We know he's dead. We've already mourned him, especially by the time the show comes back. So they've missed the mark. There's no reason to let your audience not walk. Like when I walk away from a good show that's left me fucking crushed thinking, like when Ned died, how did they fucking do that? How did they get away with doing that?
Yeah.
That makes me want to watch just as much as a cliffhanger.
I don't want to keep bringing it up. Better Call Saul too did that a bunch of times the last 3 seasons, where I was just like, holy shit, how can you do that? Or they did that with the whole Chuck arc, and I don't want to spoil any of that. Felicia says, I watch Dragon Ball, so I can't complain about things being repetitive. I watch fucking Survivor, so I can't complain about things being repetitive if they're meant to be repetitive kind of shows. Something like anime, half-an-hour anime series like Pokemon or fucking Dragon Ball or Justice League or anything. Even Justice League pushed the limit and did ongoing story arcs, but whatever, that's Justice League, it's different. But the cartoon, not the movie. So certain shows are supposed to do certain things, and they do it successfully. I talked a few years ago about a show called, what was it, with Rob Lowe and Fred Savage. It was a cheesy fucking sitcom show. It worked as a cheesy sitcom show. Yeah, they were brothers. The whatever the fuck it was called. Who cares? It's not a great show, but it works as a half-an-hour shitty show. Joe and I both like Lethal Weapon. Is Lethal Weapon
awesome?
Is it going to win any awards?
No.
Is it going to be like considered as good as Game of Thrones or Vikings or Better Call Saul? No, but it sets out, this is the kind of show I want to be, and it does it to fucking perfection.
It does. Oh, Damon and
that dude
Riggs.
In the Walking David's understudy. He reminds me a lot of the Walking David. Like the Walking David could play that part. I always say that when I'm watching it with Stephanie. I go, David could play this part.
Well, I was watching Jon Snow get thrown out of a bar drunk in New York City on like a TMZ video. And I was like, holy fuck, if that's not the Walking David, like doing his best Jon Snow at some bar trying to get pussy.
Oh, were you talking about the Jon Snow?
Gets thrown out of a New York bar drunk. Yeah.
I was going to ask you about that.
Holy shit.
No, hey, the movie, I agree with you, broke. The cartoon Justice League is maybe the Batman animated series and the Superman animated series and Static Shock and especially, not especially, but and Batman Beyond. All those Zeta Project. Zeta, I wasn't the biggest fan of Zeta, but whatever. All those series create one of the best, my favorite cartoons or universe ever created or something like that. I don't know how to exactly describe it, but especially Batman and in the hour-long Justice League ones, not necessarily Justice League Unlimited, but the hour-long episodes that they did in the first 2 seasons were some of the best cartoon television I've ever seen.
Cartoon Batman movies.
Yeah,
some of them. Red Hood. I thought a couple of them were absolutely fucking dog shit.
So they're hit or miss. There's some that are really good. There's some are really bad. The Wonder Woman one is really good. If you're a fan of the Wonder Woman character, the DC animated universe movie, that's really good. An old one, but an excellent one, Mask of the Phantasm. But whatever, that could be a different podcast altogether. So
the Mask of Phantom.
I thought the Mask of the Phantasm. But anyways, I
don't know.
Any last thoughts on this Gimple thing? My last
basically it's wait and see.
Wait and see. And I hope it's more of keep Gimple over in fear. Let him create all the merchandising with a real money in the game.
I'm not going to draw any conclusions. I'm not going to say it's going to be bad or it's going to be good. I'm going to go in with open eyes. As you know, you've heard me say it over and over again, week after week. I just want the show to be good. I just really want it to be good. And if this is a move that makes that happen, then I'm on board. If it's more of the same, then I'm going to say so. But I am absolutely going into this with an open mind. No judgment pre-reserved at this point, in spite of what episodes have been written by her or not. I'm not really familiar with the title, so a lot of that didn't mean anything to me, and I got a vague recollection of whether or not I liked the episode by some of the major plot points. That being said, again, I think that the whole season is different than writing a single episode. Now she'll be responsible for whole season arcs and things like that, so maybe we get some really decent change, and if we don't, I will certainly say so. But
I'm actually more excited for The Walking Dead in October 2019.
Same here. I am too.
I've been in a long time to get out here after that first episode and see how the show feels different, or see if it does feel different.
2019 is shaping to be a good year.
Yep. And Mike, I do have to say, very few times can I be proud of that I pronounced something right. So yes, it was. It's Phantasm Dirty Locks.
Awesome.
Yeah. For the first time, I think the first time in the history of the show I ever pronounced anything correct. So I think it's worth it. So before we call this a podcast, I do want to talk about one other thing. I did a quick announcement of this out in the snow, but I forgot to wear my boots, so it was very, very quick. But also in the midst of the holiday break here, Game of Thrones was announced, or HBO announced that Game of Thrones. 2 things. I want to talk about a couple of things that HBO announced. First off, before we talk about Game of Thrones, I'm a huge fan of Flight of the Conchords, and they just announced that Flight of the Conchords, specifically Flight of the Conchords live. I know a lot of people do really like the show. I don't love the show.
Well, that's because if you watched all their live, and all their the show is based. All those sketches and episodes are based on the live show.
The live stuff. I love them live, and HBO is doing a new comedy hour with them on their recent tour, so it's going to be a live performance of them. So I'm really excited that that's coming back. That they're coming back to HBO.
I am the rhinoceros. My rhymes are bottomless.
Wait.
The hippopotamus. Yes. My rhymes are bottomless.
My favorite line in all that. My rhymes are so potent.
I got all the women in the first row
pregnant. Yeah, it's I forget it, but it's a funny line. Anyways, if you're a fan of Flight of the Conchords, they are coming back in whatever. Also, speaking of animated series on WB, Animaniacs
in the room.
Animaniacs is coming back in 2020, which should be really cool. I'm very excited for Animaniacs coming back. In the whole damn world, in the whole damn room.
In the whole damn room.
You're so hot, you could be a waitress or a part-time model, but you probably have to keep your normal job.
A 50s air hostess.
Yeah, air hostess in the 60s. Yeah. You're so beautiful. You could be a waitress. You're so beautiful. My favorite line is the song "Issues" they have. There's people on the street getting diseases from monkeys. But don't look that way. You're getting diseases from monkeys. Why is this happening? Please, who's been touching these monkeys? Someone leave these poor sick monkeys. They got problems enough as there is, or something like that. I'm confusing two of them, and then it's perfect. Where there's children on the street trying to make ends meet, and trying to make better sneakers. Something about sneakers and stuff.
The tape of love.
The tape of love. Okay.
Brown paper, white paper.
So, okay. Anyways, if you want to actually hear these songs not get ripped apart and destroyed by Joe and I, definitely check out Fly the Conchords if you haven't. They're very funny, or I find them very funny, and it's gonna be fun to see them back.
I hate them all. They're not.
They're horrible, Joe. They're fucking horrible.
They're fucking horrible.
And horrible band, and they're pathetically awful live. Neither one of them are funny guys at all. So,
just their names, Jermaine and Britt.
Joe, you gonna stream some Friday the 13th? Quixote wants to know after this.
Oh, I'm going to bed right after this.
So before we talk about that, before Joe goes to sleep for a long winter, we talked about this before, and I just want to conclude my thoughts on this, and also more importantly, find out. What did Joe think? What did Joe think? What did Joe think? Was it good, or did it really fucking stink? Okay, so my Game of Thrones coming back in 2019. We kind of already suspected this. They hinted at this. They pushed at this. This wasn't any huge big surprise. I talked about that a little bit. I was more upset about the snowstorm. Stopping and really coming down and thinking about it. Right now, I have two thoughts. One, it does scream. I don't want to let people off the hook. It screams a little lazy. Like they could probably figure it out if they hankered down and really worked on it and really pushed. We couldn't. There's 6 episodes. Fuck all. What the fuck? I'm bitter. I want it now, mommy. I'm Veruca Salt. I want it all now. Give it to me now. I was on a year basis, and now to make me wait even longer than that makes me scream and makes me angry. That being said, truth be told, I'm not going to fucking be hyperbolic here. I'm going to fuck these guys. I'm not going to. No, because I'm going to watch when it comes. And if these are 6 hour-and-a-half long movie quality, amazing episodes of Game of Thrones, I'm not going to give a flying fuck how long it took once I'm there. That being said, again, I'm already sick of the off season. I'm already sick of waiting. And there's 6 episodes and there's 6 little bits of Game of Thrones left. I was ready for it. I was ready to get it. I'm ready for it now. I wish they just
18 months.
I wish they just waited 2 years or something and then just gave us 13 episodes in a row or something like that, something crazy. And I know people like the build up and the excitement, but on some point it just, to me, it feels like just pissing into the wind. And I want it, but I'm not angry about it. And it's all right. Who the fuck am I? I was just very excited for it. I knew it was going to happen. When in 2019 is my biggest question now. Is it January 2019? Is it April 2019?
It's April or May.
It's April or May. I agree, Joe. I think it's definitely April or May. Is it going to be awesome? I have a feeling it's going to be fucking awesome. It's going to show that they took the time to do it, and fucking men for them being like, we got to get this right.
It might even be later, because what you don't want to do is you don't want to give people an awful, horrible winter fucking story in the middle of the winter that they're dying and freezing and sitting in their living room trying to stay warm, watching Jon Snow freeze his fucking nuts off in the fucking north is not going to make for happy people. That's going to make it even colder. So it might even be as late as June.
Nymeria is saying, build the hype, dragons and ice titties. I feel Wolf Gaming says, I feel the hype is going to be too much for the finale. And that's part of my issue here. Okay. I'm all for over analysis of things, especially after they happen. I like more looking into things after they happen, getting to not like building up and over, oh my God, it's happened. Like getting into the excitement of getting real stuff and building up. I feel like if you overhype something up in this long wait to 2019 of overhype, it's almost too much. And the thing that everyone's going to build up in their own minds, it's going to go crazy. What Game of Thrones needs right now, and it's oversaid, and I don't have to people know what I'm going to say. Someone in the chat just said it. Now is the time where Winds of Winter needs to come out and give people something to talk about rather than building and waiting and analyzing and going and going and going and going. Because if you keep doing that in your mind, and then when you watch it, it's never going to be what you fucking want it to be.
Yep.
And if people can use that energy to more look at some new material, some new Game of Thrones, something needs to come out in 2018.
Well, there will be.
I mean, a book. The book needs to come out. I want it.
Of course we do. We all want it. Everybody wants it. But here,
give it to me, Joe.
So you've heard me talk about this feud, right? Between D&D and RR, right? So what if this is all like George R.R. Martin has that book fucking written, right? He said, oh, soon. He's released 2 different fucking excerpts from the book.
Oh, more like I want to say like 9 excerpts from the book altogether and stuff. Like lots of shit from the book. And just to cut you off for a second, I really believe, and I could be wrong, I really believe he's writing both books at the same time. So, he's waiting till he has both books done before he turns in the first one.
No, I think he's waiting for HBO show to finish up. And HBO said, you know what? We were supposed to be all in on this together. You kind of abandoned us halfway through or 3/4 of the way through on a lot of shit. Stopped directing episodes, stopped having any real input. And there's you can definitely feel a difference between definitely the last season and a half, 2 seasons, and the first.
It's because they're not working off any source material. Just to go to someone saying about Telltale, I actually researched if we're going to get the Game of Thrones Telltale game again.
No.
And they said yes, but it's being held off until more Game of Thrones. So we probably won't get it till after the show is over.
They want to know where things head before because they can't be like, okay, this family does some great shit and then not have that shit show up, because they're trying to make it canon and fit with the story. But so my whole thing is D&D said, fuck that, fuck you, JRM. We're not gonna. You wanted to put your book out after we finished. Well, we're gonna take a whole extra year. Suck on that.
Mm-hmm. And it's gonna be like I said. I could be pissed off about it. I could rage and scream from the dying of the light like Rodney Dangerfield and Back to the School. I could scream and scream, but it's not going to make the time go by any quicker. Am I going to be watching in 2019? You bet your fucking ass. Are we going to be talking about those episodes? You bet your fucking ass. Do I want these to be 1.5 great episodes? Am I going to look at this positively? Like, yeah, they take the time to get this right, to get the CG, to render everything properly, to do it all great. It takes a lot of time. Yes. Fucking do it. Take all the time you want. Am I disappointed? Fuck yeah, but who gives a shit about me? Fuck my feelings. Like, who gives a fuck? Yeah,
ultimately, it's fuck all of us. Who gives a shit about any of our feelings?
Who gives a fuck about any of our feelings? We're gonna watch. They know they have us by the balls.
Oh yeah.
They can do whatever they want. They could wait 3 years and we're still watching. It doesn't fucking matter. Or the real fans. There might be some of the bloom off the public bullshit. The public, the
casual fan.
I
don't like dragons. Oh, that was a good show.
That was a good show. People might move on to something else, and that's okay with me too. It's whatever. Like, people are gonna wait. People are gonna watch. It's gonna be fucking awesome.
The show is gonna be the premiere is gonna be the biggest premiere in television history.
It's gonna be crazy, dude.
It's gonna be bigger than Super Bowl numbers.
And the hype that's going to be built up is going to be insane. And they know what they're doing. And who am I to fucking complain? They got me. They got me by the short ones, Joe. They got me.
And see, this is what I think they should do. It always gets leaked every year, right? These episodes come out and everybody watches them and they suffer for it. So why not beat it? Why not like troll some of the social media fights? Find out who some of the top 10, YouTubers like us, right? Top 10 are talking about and reviewing this shit, and leak the season to us so we can watch it and put out preseason reviews on what people are going to see and watch and how much they're going to love it, rather than like the Washington Post. That's tired fake news shit anyway, right?
Give it to us. Give it to us.
Give it to us instead. Let us review it first. Not just us, Phil, but like some of the bigger channels on YouTube or some of these social media sites that do these kind of reviews. They're not affiliated with all that. But big money fake crap.
but definitely us.
Yes, us.
Definitely us. So on that note, anything else? Like, I don't, there's not too much else to talk about that. We'll be definitely doing some off-season Game of Thrones stuff.
Oh, yeah. One other thing about Game of Thrones.
Mm-hmm.
Maisie Williams added Tom Hanks and someone else to her death list.
Dun dun dun. which Tom Hanks? Joe versus the volcano Tom Hanks?
He's already dead. He's got a brain cloud, dude.
He had a brain cloud. You didn't get a second opinion for something called a brain
cloud? No, you don't need another opinion, man. That shit, dude, your brain is all cloudy. You're not thinking right.
No, not at all. What were you talking about? I have a brain cloud now. I wasn't paying any attention. 6 weeks of hype, 6 weeks of griping, 6 weeks of disappointing, 6 weeks of us watching breathtakingly. Yes. I have
breathlessly. Oh, it works either way. Yeah.
Your clothes, give them to me. So we'll be waiting, we'll be watching, we'll be fucking excited to watch this Game of Thrones. Let's go into the live motherfucking chat a little bit before we call it a stream. Walking David, great to see you. Gonna get the Walking David on here very soon. So I'm trying to think if there's anything else that we needed to talk about here today, Joe. I think we hit it all. You talked about the Kid Harington getting thrown out of a bar. And how many times have you been thrown out of a bar in your life?
Thrown out of a bar,
or escorted out of a bar?
Okay, escorted out of a bar or thrown out of a bar. I want to say the police kicked us all out of a bar when we were underage once, right? For one of Craig's shows.
Yes, I remember.
But I think never. But I was banned from a bar. I left a bar drunk to go give someone a ride home and came back and was told like an hour later, I didn't drive them home. Someone else drove them home and was told I wasn't allowed to come in because I was already too hammered and drunk and shit. So I like put up a big fucking stink and got banned for life from bleachers. I called someone a geek, and they decided. And like when I went back, like the next week, I called one of the bouncers, or like not even a bouncer. He was just a guy that worked there, and I called him a geek. And I swear to God, I called him a geek. I was like, "What's this geek gonna do?" Like, I had like a buttoned-up shirt, glasses on.
It's like you're a professional wrestler. What's this geek gonna do?
Right. I was like all drunk, and I'm gonna kick all 6 of your asses and shit for not letting me in to drink more now, you know. And then, and like I was always at this bar all the time, right? And then like I went back the next week, I think for one of your shows, and they were like, "No, you're not allowed in here. You're banned for life." I'm like, "Banned for life for what? I was drunk last week. Big deal." They were like, "You called, this kid who works here a
geek."
No, with O's instead of E's. And so they said I made this racial slur.
I somewhat remember.
And I was like, I did not. I would never fucking say that, dude.
Yeah,
I do. Way,
I definitely remember that now. Tim Epps,
and they're like, "Yep, nope, you're banned for life." And then like 2 months later, they were closed for good.
Yeah. That was an interesting complex. It was they were dicks, but it was a good place. Lots of pool tables, lots of places for bands to play there and stuff.
I'm like, everybody's banned for life. Fuck yourself.
Ban yourself, motherfuckers. Tim says a collab between Phil, Kyle, Gemma, Smokescreen, Talking Thrones needs to happen. I would love to do something with all of those people. I can definitely say that I'd love to work with David, and I've talked to him a little bit. Gemma and Kyle and Smokescreen as well. I think we're all going to be out at Con of Thrones, so maybe something could happen out there as well. But definitely love to do something with all of them. Make sure you tell all of those people too. Go to their channels and tell them the same thing. Tim F. Tell them the same. I'll make it fucking happen. I used to. Joe dropped the geek word. I never
geek. Seriously, that's it. I called him a geek.
I never use the stairs. I like to put them on the wall walking. I'm trying to think. Have I ever been kicked out of a bar? Because if I have, it's probably I've been kicked out of parties for being asshole. Like, and I've definitely. I'm trying to think. No, maybe one of the Middle East shows that my band played. I was really drunk one of those nights and yelling and obnoxious. But I don't have any quick memory of me being taken out of a bar. But it could have very easily happened. Do you have any?
Got kicked out of a concert.
I've been kicked out of many concerts. To 2 concerts. I've been kicked out of. I was kicked out of the Rage Against the Machine concert for the Wonder Joint. There was a joint passed around a room at a club called the Avalon, which I believe is closed.
And at the Orpheum, you got Wonder Joint twice.
Wonder Joint twice. Blunt. The Orpheum, but the Wonder Blunt was that was even more recent. The one at the Rage Against the Machine show was on a Halloween evening. I was at the door. All of my friends were, and that night, what was weird was I was not eating sandwiches that night, and I was just passing the sandwich from one person to the next person, and it just happened to be on me. And these 2 guys in normal suits grabbed me and took me out of there and kicked my butt out.
You got Wonder Jointed at your own show at the Hempfest.
The Hempfest, yes. And the second story, I was my band played the Boston Freedom Rally 4 years in a row. The first time we played, I was with Joe and our other friend Double D, and we were eating a sandwich. And the cops came up and they grabbed me and they brought me in and gave me a ticket, and they knew I was performing. My band was playing next, and they took their time and sort of and I was like running at the end of my gig, and I like jumped up on stage with 2 songs left with the ticket, and I did one of those to the audience at the Freedom. Watch out, man! They're out there. Watch out for them.
Funny too, because when they walked up, they were like, "You guys, show us your IDs, give us your weed," and all that. And I was like, "Who the fuck are you?" They're like, "We're the police." I'm like, "Where the fuck's your badge? Get away from me." And they started pulling out their badges after that. I was so pissed. I was ready to be like, "You ain't mugging me, motherfucker. Who the fuck are you?"
And Hannibal, to answer your question, yes, we did play with Tree. Our band, one of the years that we performed, Tree did their reunion during our set. They came on stage and we got to play a couple songs. And in one performance we did God Gives Grass, and we had Dave Tree come and perform. Dave Tree designed one of that band's t-shirts as well. He was at a lot of our shows and performed a couple times with us throughout the lifetime of that particular band. So yeah, we performed with Tree, came on and played half of one of our sets, and one time we played a couple times, or they played like 2 or 3 songs with us and stuff like that. Awesome guys. Those dudes rock. And then the last time I was with Joe and our friend Nick at a fucking string cheese incident hippie show at the Orpheum in Boston, and they were throwing people out, which I was really pissed about because it's a fucking string cheese incident show, and don't have that fucking concert at the fucking show if you don't want people smoking fucking weed
at the venue. Right. It's like, what would you expect? Every single person there is going to do that.
But oh yeah, Dave's an awesome dude. I was in a band called The Force, Hannibal. If you want to ask him, he definitely remember, whether he'd remember me, he'd definitely remember Vic and the band The Force and stuff. So definitely give Dave some awesome vibes. He's good people. And
that's like a almost like a double negative there, Hannibal. Like, for every I don't know, that's political, but for every cop who's a good cop, who knows a dirty cop and doesn't say anything about that dirty cop or bad cop, is also a dirty cop or bad cop. So therefore, almost every fucking cop is already a dirty fucking cop.
And just like to hang out. Nightmare is like, she just like to chill and have fun. For the most part, I like to chill and have fun. When I was younger, I maybe talked a little bit too much shit here and there on occasion, and my mouth got me into trouble because I didn't have a podcast to yell on quite yet. So it was I needed some place to get my fucking shit out.
That being said, who wants to be a rat?
Yeah. Who wants to be king? Sorry.
King Rat.
King Rat. The Rat King, Joe. Anyways, everybody, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. We will be back very soon for more shows. If you have any questions, any comments you want to add to this, please share it in the comment section below. Please email me any questions you have at igotissuesman@gmail.com. You can find all the ways to help the channel grow in the links description box below. Make sure you're subscribed to our podcast as well if you're listening to the audio feed, and let us know where and how you're listening to that audio podcast. And if you haven't already and you're watching the YouTube video, please hit the like button. Please hit the subscribe button. Thank you to everyone in the live motherfucking chat for joining us today. Sam, great to see you. Felicia, K, Rich, Quixote, Mike, Lav, Hannibal, Nymeria, Euron, Iron, K Rich again, because I love you that much. Wolf Gaming, Tim F, everyone that just jumping in the live chat today. You guys are fucking amazing. Joe, I'll talk to you next time. Thanks for joining me, buddy.
Peace.
Later.